the early 1950s about corporate cover-ups, mind-altering drugs, alternative realities, the growing power of the police, and the evil tyranny of politics. The world has been catching up to his literary vision, and his paranoia increases dramatically. He suspects that he's being targeted and under surveillance because of what he knows. The fact that divine power is cruel, blind, insensitive, and destructive, and that the Roman Empire has never fallen, and that history has stopped in the first century, and that Rome, i.e., the United States of America, is the apex or zenith of materialism, the realm of the blind God, the blind one. He also believes that Richard Nixon, resigned from office or not, is the current emperor of Rome incarnate, the USA, and the servant of the blind God. So PKD channels his personal fears into his art and envisions a future where privacy is now obsolete. Sound familiar, folks? In a twisted portrait of his life among the counterculture in the early 1970s, with the novel A Scanner Darkly, which is published in 1977. This is a darkly comic novel that explores the negative implications of drug abuse with an almost hallucinogenic vehemence. Scanner Darkly is a bleak but funny mixture of science fiction and police novel in which an undercover police detective begins to lose touch with reality and falls victim, permanent victim, to a mind-altering drug known as Substance D, which is instantly addictive, as a pleasant euphoria is soon replaced by confusion and psychosis. Now, the surveillance technology he writes about in the novel is now in use, as the private past becomes an open book, and all our movements, comments, mistakes, and sins live on digitally forever. Now, around the time of the book's publication, as I mentioned, Tess can take no more and files for divorce. PKD comforts himself by continuing to work on his journal, Edgesis. He examines his own unexplained paranormal experiences and lets the reader know that he, the author, is, somehow the recipient of divine communication. The Creator God is deranged and insane, and we, humanity, are more rational than the deity who spawned us. And that Christ, the Apostle of Light, comes into the scene as a later development and tries to rationalize us and the universe. PKD cannot fully understand or rationalize these supernatural events he has experienced. He struggles to comprehend what is happening to him, questioning his own sanity and questioning his perception of reality. His letters from the period also focused on the same material, and PKD begins to deal with his paranormal religious experiences in fictional terms. For example, Radio Free Albermuth, which is published in 1978, which is a type of first draft novel that he soon reworks into Valis, 1980. Valis is a deeply emotional and artistic book, a stunning tale that combines his mocking self-analysis with convincing fictional depictions of the world as PKD sees it to be. This is the finest book of his later years. Valis is a fragile but deeply brave work. In the novel, PKD is two different characters, a man who is crazy and a man who is not. He divides his persona into two different voices. Horse lover Fat, who has the same religious epiphany and visions, and Philip K. Dick, who narrates the novel with an empathic and disinterested tone. The central concept of Valis is PKD's own idiosyncratic Gnosticism, his own unique blend of fantastic and elaborate metaphysical cosmology. His religious visions are presented in the book as saving and ironic awareness, the knowledge of divine light. In the novel, the Empire, the United States, or Rome incarnate, is insane and imposes its insanity on us via government-sanctioned violence. The deranged cult of violence, well, essentially eternally presents itself as real and necessary. Now, deaf, mute, three-eyed aliens arrive in the Sudan from a planet in the Sirius star system in order to increase the power of the evil empire. Jane, his missing half, the twin sister who died at 6 weeks old, and whom he longs for, is worked into the book's plot as the much-mourned female god, i.e. Pistis Sophia, the Shekinah. And basically, Jane becomes part of his Gnostic cosmic mythos, a Gnostic cosmology that argues that the God of Israel, Yahweh, is not the original or sole creator of the universe, but instead is the product of older tyrannical forces who are eventually defeated in the conflict between light, order, and darkness, chaos. By the time of the novel's publication, PKD's mind is filled with paranoia, fantasies, visions, and hallucinations. He is grappling with greater demons, real or imagined, than, most of us are ever likely to encounter. But troubled soul or not, PKD keeps on working. In 1981, we had the Divine Invasion, and in 1982, we had the Transmigration of Timothy Archer. These are, both these novels are basically conducted within the framework of the metaphysical search for the structure of meaning, God, and reality. Now, in early February 1980,